So I got my plate here, my plate here. What I do is I just cut a stick because it's a lot easier to cut wood than it is metal. And I got it pretty snug. You can kind of see it's kind of snug in here. And so it's kind of snug, so that's good. We can always grind off once we cut the metal. If we make it a little bit too long, we can always grind it down. But there's a big gap, makes it kind of hard. So let's go get we'll take this stick and we'll put it on the metal, cut out the metal, and that should get us really close to where we need to be. We'll go from there. Alrighty, so here's that stick that we just measured. So I'm going to line it up on the end, right there. Mark this with a pencil. So it should give us pretty close to where we need to be. So that saw is not supposed to get hot, so I guess I got to get a new blade, which sucks because that's, I don't know, probably $70 or so, something like that. But I've had that same blade for years and years and years, so got my money's worth out of it. So let's see if it fits. Hopefully it gets close. Yeah, that'll work. So here's where we're at now. Do we want this bar up here? Do we want it more in the center? Do we want it on the bottom? Kind of thinking right there in the somewhat center. And then maybe. So I think we'll put this in the center. That way we can still come up and over, and then we can cut these out where we'll put the hooks. I think that's probably going to be the best bet there. I'll go get the welder and all that good stuff. We'll come back out here. Alright, so safety glasses. I'm just going to knock off the sharp edges and maybe cut it down just a little bit. It's snug, but a little too snug, because I can't get it exactly where I want it without pounding it in there. I think you get it. It's grinding. There's going to be a lot of it. So let me finish this and I will get back with you. Alright, so I got this tacked in. We got outside to outside is 2.5. From here to here is 2.5 inches. So half of 2 is 1. And then half of a half is a quarter. So we got from here to here 1 1/4, 1 1/4. So there's the halfway mark on this. This is 7 inches, so 3.5 inches. So I got that lined up there. We tacked it in. Same thing on this side. I got everything kind of tacked. I might put a couple more tacks on there. I also made sure that it's not protruding past this plate for whatever reason. I don't know. But I'll go ahead and tack it again, and then we'll fully weld it in. And then next thing we got to do is figure out how we want to do these hook latches, or whatever you want to call it. So, all right, I'll get back with you. Okay, so I got it pretty much welded in. Don't judge me too much. This was stick 7018 for the, I guess you'd call it a root pass. But I'm going to come back over the top of it with the MIG welder and hopefully make it look a little better. After this, we will paint it, I guess. No, I still need to do the little holes. So, alright, I'll get back with you. Just want to do an update. Yeah, it's fully welded all the way around. So, even under. Let's see. There you go. They're booger welds, but whatever. That's why we do the MIG weld on top, to make it look pretty. Alright. Alright, so here we go. Got this installed. You can kind of see the welds. As I said, I did the see it or not, that's a little better. But like I said, we welded all the way around. I did a root pass of the 7018, and then I came back with the MIG welder to kind of clean it up a little bit. I did somehow get this down just a little bit. I don't know how. I measured like twice, 3 times, something like that, but I don't know. Anyways, guess it doesn't matter now. It is what it is. Next thing we need to do is build the little thing here, the little cover. I was gonna put some holes in here on both sides so you could put a chain on there, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld one of those D-rings. I'm going to weld it onto here, and then that way if I needed to pull this out, if it gets stuck or whatever, I can still use that, and then just run the chain up through the D-ring. So I'm going to go buy one of those, but first we're going to do the I guess this here. So need to measure this out. Where'd my tape measure go? I just had it. Oh, it's right here. So the minimum we need to go from, I don't know if you can see this line, but this line to this line. So maybe we'll go from this line to this line. No, we need to go this way just in case we need to take this off. I still need to be able to get in between. So let's do that. So we'll measure from there to there. So with that, we're at 13 and 1/16. 13 and 1/16. So let's go see if we can find some in the scrap yard over there. Let's go. Alright, so here's where we're at. I found several of them that are like 12 inches, 12 and a half inches. This one is 14 inches. I should still be able to come in here with an open wrench, or even maybe snake something up under to get to that. So I'm not trapping myself in here, so that's good. So this is a 1/8 inch thick. So that should be plenty, I hope. So let's figure out how high up we need to go. Alright, so this is kind of the best that I can come up with for now. Just got a piece of fairly flat wood. I mean, it's a little bit warped, but I want to make sure that it clears everything. So I still have, oh shoot, 1.5 inches maybe. Inch and a quarter. So we're going to use this measurement. Pull this out as far as we can. And we're just going to go from the top of this bracket to the top of this. 2 3/4 inches. Yeah, about 2 3/4 inches would be plenty. So we can go from here to here, 2 3/4 inches up. Let's go from, from at least here. So about 6 inches. We can come up, however high that was again, and then over. So it can be kind of a gradual curve or whatever. Okay, so here's my little template. So we can go from the back of the frame to the front of this. We're at 16 inches. I got to go up 4 3/4 inches to get over the hoses here. And so since I'm off a little bit on this, I have to do a little bit of math and stuff over here. But we'll get it somewhat fairly straight. If not, you know, whatever. So let me figure out how to. I'm going to cut this down to size. 16 inches plus the 4 3/4 inches. So we'll do what, 20 and 3/4 inches, at least on one side, and then at least cut it off. That'll give us a much more manageable piece that we can work with. So let's do that. All right, guys. So here we go. As you know, my measurements were a little off whenever I welded that, or I didn't weld it straight. I still don't know what happened. Anyways, so we're going to try to correct that. From down here we have, what do we say? So we have 16 inches overall. Is that what it was? And then we needed to go down. Then we needed to go down 4 3/4 inches. So whenever I measured this out, I did from here all the way to wherever 16 inches is, so maybe right here or so, and then I added 2 1/4 inches, and then I added another 2 9/16, so that got me to here. On the bottom I basically did the same thing, went all the way to 16 inches, and then I added 4 3/4 inches. That should get me up where I need to be. And then what I did, so that got me the overall length of what this needs to be. Now we need to go 16 inches in, and so the way I did that was, son of a dilly, I think I did it backwards. Alright, so I don't know if I did my measurements backwards or whatnot, but I guess we'll figure it out. Anyways, the way to make a bin, so check this out. I actually have a hydraulic press brake. The problem is that it only goes to 12 inches wide. Remember, we got this, it's like 14 inches. So the way you can do a bend on somewhat fairly, well, I guess on sheet metal, thick metal, whatever, is just use like a cutoff wheel. This is what I'm using, just a cutoff wheel. And then the thickness of that blade, depending on how much of a curve you need to do and the thickness of your metal. Like I said, this is a 1/8 inch thick, so I think this is probably an 1/8 inch wide kerf on there. So I just went down to mostly almost all the way through. I don't know if you can see that or not, but almost all the way through, and then you should be able to bend it. So I'm still gonna have to try to bend this myself, but I do have this right here, so I can put that on there and then bend it over, and hopefully I can get pretty close to 45 degrees. So well, let me go ahead and do that, and I'll get back with you. Alright, so I got it all bent up. I have it tacked on here, and we actually measured close enough for, I mean, it's a Chinese machine, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? So I do have it kind of sitting on the frame just a little bit, and so that'll kind of help with stability as well, or add a little bit more structure, I guess. We'll come in from here to here, and we'll put some bracing in there. So let me go ahead and finish welding this up, and then we'll flip it over and we'll weld the inside of this. Probably just stitch weld that. It doesn't need to be all the way across, but yeah. After that, we'll clean this up and paint it, and we'll be done. Alright, so I got this all painted up. The underside, I did some black primer, and then we're going to do black gloss. So this is the underside, so give me just a second, let me flip the other side over. I haven't painted it yet, but give me a second. Alright, so here's the top side. Probably just scratched up all the wet paint underneath to show y'all, but you're worth it, right? I'm not painting this right here just yet because I still got to get the that D-ring that I want to put on there. So holding off on that, but I'm about to paint this side here, maybe the edges, the outsides again, maybe a little bit, but yeah, on the outsides here, maybe right here, a little bit, but yeah. Alrighty, I'll get back with you. Alright, so I'm going to use my good welder. Here's the plate that we made. I was looking for a weldable D-ring, and they were all out. They had this, which is bolt-in, which it'll work. I'm just going to weld this on. So I think this was like 13 bucks, $13 or $14 at Northern Tools. So yeah, I'm just going to clean this off. Got a little bit of overspray on it. I'm going to finish cleaning that off, and we'll weld that on there and go from there. And I don't really have a good, this would be perfect, but it wants to fall forward. I don't really have anything to prop it up. Anyways, so we're just gonna go with it. Also, I need to find the center of this. Okay, so I measured over 8 3/4 is the exact center of this. I almost forgot to put this in there before I tack welded it, so glad I didn't do that. Yeah, so I hope this doesn't mess up my lens. If this messes up my lens, this is the last time y'all will see me welding on camera, unless it's from far away. I got this turned up as pretty much as high as it'll go. I probably should do stick welding on this, but if I was actually making it for 11,000 pounds, probably do something like that, but we're not. All right. Alright, I think you get the point. I'm getting a little bit closer to the lens, so I'm going to fully weld this in, and then I'm going to paint it, and then we're going to install it. So the next time you'll see it is after I paint it and starting the install process. I bought longer bolts as well. So, alright, I'll get back with you. Alright, so I just got it sitting up there right now. These are the bolts that I got. You can see it's just a little bit longer. It's to accommodate the thickness of this here. It also has a little bit of a shoulder, so I don't know if these are gonna thread all the way in. I'm hoping so, but we'll find out. Alright, well, we are pretty much done with this one. We got some fingerprints on here, but sure that'll go away pretty quick. This way, I do like this better, because before, if we just had the hooks up here that would go in, that's kind of the only thing we could use that for. Maybe put a chain on there to pull something out or whatever, but with this, able to put a chain through here and tighten it that way. With this being so light, I only need one chain. I don't need to do it at 4 corners, so we're good on that. The other thing is that if I need to pull something with this, I can hook it on there, or if I get stuck for whatever reason, which is kind of hard to get stuck in an excavator, but it can happen. Leave it to me, I'm sure I can find a way. But Anyways, I can pull it out with this as well. We got the extra long bolts. So this was a, let me think, 14 millimeter by 14 millimeter by, I think, 40 or 45 millimeter, like long, and it is a 2.0 thread pitch. So what I went with was a 14 millimeter 2.0, I think 55 millimeter. I think 55 millimeter. So a little bit longer. So we got a little bit more thread engagement on there. So yeah, this will be good to go. Fully protecting all the cables up under there, or fully protecting all the hydraulic hoses up in there. And the other thing is, if I need to get to the hydraulic hoses, it's 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. This whole thing comes out all together. So this is super sturdy. I can stand on it, no issue whatsoever. So anyways, hope y'all like this one. I tried to make this one a little bit faster. I know the first one was a little bit long because I like to talk, but like I always say, on my videos, I put too much information in there because you can always fast forward. So there you go. Alright, again, thanks for watching. Y'all comment, rate. Hope this helps somebody out, and we'll talk to you later. Okay, bonus. So we got the little mini excavator, which is very handy to have a built-in jack. Let's see if we can let this down. There we go. So now you kind of see how that looks. Looks really good. I like it. Okay. So with the mini excavator, we got this 20-foot long trailer. That's a really long trailer. We should probably get a mini trailer for the mini excavator. For those that know, so we have 5 acres, and if I'm working on the very front of the property and I want to drive it to the very back of the property, this thing goes a little over 1 mile an hour. So it's going to take forever to get up to the property. So what a lot of people do is they build a little trailer. They put the little mini excavator on the mini trailer, and then tow it up to wherever you need to go, and then do your work from there. So I thought that was a brilliant idea. So I got a mini trailer, and it tilts. A mini tilt trailer. So I haven't loaded it on here yet, but should be plenty for what we need it with. And the other thing is, if I get some jobs or whatever with that mini excavator, I can put it on this trailer. I don't have to drag my big trailer around. But I will say it looks really funny on the back of my big old truck. Anyways. But yeah, oh, it also came with some binders and some chain. So, pretty cool. This was United Rentals. They were selling some of their equipment. So, my boss saw it, and he knew I was looking at building something. He's like, man, you can't build it for that cheap. So, jumped on it. Anybody want to guess? $300 out the door. Well, $326 after tax and fees and all that stuff. But yeah. Also, if I just wanted to take the riding lawnmower, the 0 turn, or just a 4-wheeler or something like that, perfect. All right. Bonus footage. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later. See ya.